Merhaba, and welcome back to the Ottoman campaign. And if you think this battle looks familiar, it is because it is the same as in the previous episode. But the game crashed after that battle, so it didn't get saved. So we've sunk these ships before, losing 2 cruisers and 1 torpedo boat. Let's see if we can do better. It is, of course, very possible that we'll do worse, because these are still some very dangerous battleships. So, anyway, we gotta do it. So, let's go. So, yeah, hopefully this time the game won't crash after the battle, and progress will actually be saved. Cruisers. This time, I'm actually just gonna send them away. Because I know I don't need them. The enemy destroyers have short-range torpedoes, so I can just deal with them using the secondaries on my battleships. There. How far out are we? Like 60 kilometers? So they have... just quickly go through this again, even if we showed it off previous episode. One of these battleships seems to be a one-off. It's a very good-looking battleship, I'll give it that. Mark 3 20-inch guns. And, you know, decent, actually good armor. A lot of powerful secondaries. Now, if this had had Mark 5s, it would be pretty much perfect. These things, of which they have 6, in this battle at least, do have Mark 5 20-inch guns. And also similarly good armor. Not quite as beefy of a secondary battery. And the main battery layout is kind of weird. Especially with these random secondary guns blocking the X turret. Which is on a tiny barbette, by the way, I just noticed. But, you know, it looks weird, but just from having those guns, it's a very effective and dangerous ship. You're sailing that way. At least the battleships are. Fine. We'll match it. Destroyers, very, very cheap. But their torpedoes are kind of not up to snuff. See. Battleship targets. They're not all in range yet, but it will be soon enough. They're now spotting my destroyers again. but we are almost in range with the torpedoes. Last time I wasn't too lucky with the torps. Secondary gun penetration on the lead battleship. My lead torpedo boat is taking hits. So it needs to detach. So it doesn't hold the rest of the squadron back. There. Let's get the rest of them launching. Destroyers should now be mostly in range. Mostly. Bouvet. One torpedo boat lost. So far, not too different from the previous battle. These have all launched. And we're starting to get some torpedo hits. Tremblant is immune to flooding, same as the last battle. Or was it? Getting some dud torpedoes, that's a bit annoying. Two torpedo boats lost. Destroyers all getting away safely. More or less. Being immune to flooding is a very nice thing for destroyers. And annoyingly, the enemy is pursuing my torpedo boats. I just saw Pertusian got a flash fire. Which one is that? This one. Yeah, lead destroyer had a broken rudder, but they fixed it. guns are doing gun things. It's nice to see. The enemy has stopped pursuing my torpedo boats. They can just hold on there. If I should need them again. Barbaros Hayredin has taken some hits. It's not too serious. Oh, who is targeting a destroyer now? No one. It looked like it for a second. Good. I was at the secondaries to target these two. If they get closer. Go with HE for a bit. See if we can do some ugly things to the extended belts. There we go. Getting some bigger hits. Accidentally almost deleting a destroyer. Torpedo boats are ready again. Destroyer is almost ready as well. This might cost me a couple more torpedo boats, but even if I am to lose all 4 of them, that would still be preferable to losing the 2 cruisers I lost last time I played this battle. Bouvet and Vercingetorix. Both are launched, both are now out of torps. Hopefully both can get out. Not looking good for 14. Yeah, she might not make it. But we got the torps away, and I think we're gonna get at least a couple hits on Paris. These are 2 torpedoes. Yeah, those were some solid hits on Paris. That was worth the loss of one torpedo boat. You take one too. You did. Inbound torpedo. And there we go. Got one on Bouvet as well. Meanwhile, my battleships were firing away. Now one of you is targeting a destroyer. It's Mehmed Celebi. You're not supposed to do that. Here, we can target Euler, one of the two. Which doesn't have the greatest armor. So you might actually be able to score some full-on main deck or main belt defense. Main deck it would be at that range. And while the battleships are just doing their thing, we're gonna play with the destroyers again. We haven't sunk any other capital ships yet. But some of them are very heavily damaged, like Paris, for example, and Tremblant. And Pertuisan, which is probably pronounced differently. Oh yeah, I think these two are at least 2187. Yeah, just get those torps away. Good enough. Meanwhile, these two will be going mainly for those two battleships, which are unharmed, mostly. Yeah, so she's lost a bit of speed, despite not having taken any flooding, but still being able to go at 26 knots after that kind of punishment is pretty good. Yeah, just the secondaries targeting the enemy destroyers, that's good. See if those torps hit anything. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. A pretty nice wide spread though. He's taking some punishments. Old 551. There we go. Multiple torpedo hits on Ariane. How many did you take? Two. You took one. We're up to 25 torpedo hits in total. It's not too bad. Let's load the HE and go try and do some stuff to the extended belt again. Actually, HE is not in range. Get a little bit closer, then switch to HE. And by a little bit, I'm thinking like 40 kilometers-ish. Which, when you got super battleships duking it out with Mark 5 20-inch guns, that's almost close range. No, she does flood. In the end, she did flood. But she'd had to lose like most of her structure to even take any flooding at all. It's like almost immune to flooding. Not quite. So 3 torpedo boats and 1 destroyer lost. Ahmed Salebi just took a main deck pen. But we did score a main belt pen on 1 enemy battleship. Not sure exactly which. With you? Yeah. Will maybe be the first battleship to sink. How's Euler doing? Not taking too much damage. Actually, no, she has taken about a bunch of damage. Yeah, main deck pen. For almost 7,000. Take a couple more of those hits, and I'm gonna switch the entire line over to HE. Main tower at Bouvet. but Celebi taking all kinds of punishments. We are about to sink our first enemy battleship, though. And it might actually be Paris that goes first. Oh, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be one of those two. Paris. And there goes the other one. Now, I do not want to have my battleship guns focusing destroyers, obviously. We can deal with them when they get closer into secondary range, if they get that close. And if I have any secondary guns left when that happens, because the secondaries have been taking some punishment. Poor Mehmed Celebi lost the main tower. Losing quite a bit of that health stability and tower bonus. But that goes for most of the enemy capital ships too. Except for these two. And the battlecruiser, of course, but that doesn't really... that's not as heavily armed. Bouvet will now also sink. Soon enough. Who's targeting you? Feta. Barbaros Hayreddin also lost her main tower and fire control. But we've now sunk 3 of the enemy battleships with the Mark V 20-inch guns. 3 out of 6. That means they have 3 left, versus 4 of mine. Euler is not in range. Tremblant is not in range. Tremblant has 20-inch guns, but they're only Mark III. Actually, you are in range. Just not firing. Let's get the thumbnail. Let's see which to focus on. This one? Yeah, I guess that kind of works. Yeah, they're going through my extended deck armor. Barbados Hayreddin keeps taking hits like that. I'm gonna have her move out of the line. Looks like they're switching to Mehmed Celebi. We're gonna get some solid hits on any of these soon. There we go, a bunch of good hits on Vercingetorix. Ariane also hurting quite bad. Pierre is in good shape. My Isa Celebi and Feta are mostly undamaged, which means they don't really have that damage instability debuff. Well, they barely do. Meanwhile, Barbaros Hayreddin and Mehmed Celebi both have it kind of maxed out at 50. If I can keep these two ships being the ones taking the punishment for a bit longer, that should help these two be more effective with their fire. But obviously I'll have to take them out of the line before it's too late if they start taking too much punishment. 'Cause I don't want to lose them. The names are familiar. I did recycle the names of my first generation dreadnoughts. These 4 battleships are actually brand new. That's why they don't have veteran crews yet. They're good enough for now. There we go, flash fire on Vercingetorix. Will that be enough to sink her? No. Didn't take all the guns with it. Just one turret. She's gonna sink though. That's a lot of flooding. Back to HE for a bit. Except for Mehmed Celebi, you can keep firing AP at that battlecruiser. Vercingetorix goes down. So Ariane and Pierre are the last two Mark 5 20-inch armed battleships they have left. And this one is, well, the most dangerous one of the two. I was about to say because she had an intact main tower, but not anymore. And there goes Ariane as well. Barbaros, hi Redin. You're leaving the line. It's a risky proposition. Throwing it at that angle. 5%. I just need to get the other ships close enough that they're the ones taking the brunt of the enemy fire. This is when Isa Celebi and Feta, undamaged, have to move in. Barbaros hided in at 5%. Very close to destruction. But there we go, huge hits on Pierre. Now Isa Celebi took some damage to the main tower as well, but it's still operational. Secondary guns start engaging those destroyers. Come on now. Main guns. Secondary guns. Kilometer torpedo range. Secondary should be able to take you out before they can get that close. That is at least 2 battleships that will get teleported for repair somewhere. I wonder where they're going to end up. There goes the enemy battlecruiser. Very survivable little boat. And have a look. There she goes. Now, 1 battleship left. Tremblant. Which, despite being the best looking enemy battleship, hasn't really done much. Their Mark III main guns have been out of range most of the battle. Now she's targeting Barbaros Hayreddin. I don't like seeing that. Barbaros Hayreddin cannot take a lot more punishment. There we go. Huge hits. Isa Celebi has actually run out of ammunition. And there goes Tremblant to structural damage. Right. That was a slug match. Cruisers, they retreated, not having taken any damage this time around, and lost more torpedo boats. and 1 destroyer, but I think that's a fair trade for not losing any cruisers. But the battleships sure took a beating compared to last time. Ah, that's fair enough. A win is a win. Let's see if the game crashes or not this time. No, we're good. We are good. And we have another little battle to play. Let's just make sure. Right. Yeah, 2 light cruisers versus a bunch of battleships. So, French light cruisers. What are you like? We're gonna find out. I'm not gonna use the entire task force for this. Tunka, you can come along. You can come along. So the Tanzimat class battleships, they haven't seen too much action. We've got 4 of them. They've not entered mass production like the Sultan Osmans. We're just gonna advance into contact. Turning this way. So, French destroyer, not the same class as last time. But also with worthless torpedoes. French light cruiser. Diamond. Single barrel guns. No, third citadel layer. No torpedoes. Let's see how quickly we can dispatch these. Let's see, price tag. 1 billion? That's not a lot of ship for that kind of price tag. Why are you so expensive? I don't know. Must just be an expensive hull. Yeah, cost per unit, not always a good indicator of how powerful a unit is. Switching targets, but that's fine. We're gonna clear these away quick enough anyway, because without that third layer, getting those full belt pens is not that difficult when you're firing away with Mark 5 17.5 inch guns. Right. Now, convoy battles. What? There seems to be something missing here. Oh. That is a, potentially a tasty snack for one VV class light cruiser. Right. Before I forget, we need to launch a naval invasion against Scandinavia. To keep them locked in war. I don't I, don't I have tonnage here? East Asia. No, that's Southeast Asia. So this task force, this huge task force, is in the wrong place. Fine. Way High Way it is. Or something. Could also take Kyushu. Or North Hokkaido, I guess? Maybe. Let's take Way High Way. It doesn't take much. Right. So, let's... Before I try that one convoy battle where there were no escorts, let's do a double save. Because that seemed a bit sketchy. So, by the way, the way I like to save my games, you can see I'm using all 5 save slots for this campaign. The top one, save 0, that's always the latest save. That's the one I edit. And then I overwrite the oldest of the other 4 saves. That would be this one. Right, let's see what happens here. I've never seen this before. A convoy battle with no, no escorts. It can only be auto-resolved, like a port battle. But it says convoy. So, that was that. Right. By the way, where did my battleships end up? The damaged ones. Saint Florent. They're going to be repairing for quite a while. Is that a tiny, tiny port? It is. I mean, I've got huge ports sitting right here. No. We decided to go to... I guess it makes sense to just go to the closest one. $107 million per unit. Which, despite being repaired in a port that is way too small, that's still cheaper than just being at sea. Right. Yeah. Let's deal with some destroyers. Those are some sleek, low-profile looking DDs. Let's see, are you any good? Well, you don't have a lot of torpedoes. It looks similar to my Vikings from the Norwegian campaign. They're all the same type? No. This is different. Different, but same. No torps on the transports either, so... It seems Scandinavia has the same thing going on as I do. That names aren't properly recycled, so they just get names and numbers instead. Let's just deal with this guy first. There we go, finally got the first bit of flooding. We can get closer. I know the X turret isn't stuck, it just doesn't have quite the same arc of fire as the Y turret. It's not a huge problem, I think. That's just down to the tower used. One down. Next. Taking a lot of incoming fire. They're not hitting much. The VVs are fast enough to give the enemy a solid, like, negative modifier for target fast speed. And I don't think any of these enemy destroyers have any good, like, tower targeting stats. The transports certainly don't. lost my torpedoes. I did do some damage. And that wiped out almost 100 crew. Just that tiny hit knocking out the torps. You launched. At some point. Who knows when. What kind of torpedoes do you have? Electrics, maybe? Yeah. That's why I never saw them. I'm guessing they were launched at some point when I was maneuvering, so they just missed by a lot. And one last destroyer remaining. "95 crew lost just from losing a torpedo launcher." I think that's a bit extreme. Reminds me of those old Shipyard Champions episodes we did back in the day. Some of the challenges involved getting as many torpedoes as possible on a single ship, or something like that. There was something about getting bonus points from having the most torpedoes, most torpedo tubes. So I don't remember who I think it was Stealth. Assigned a Japanese heavy cruiser with a bunch of torpedo tubes. Yeah, because like depending on which class of ship you built, you could have more of them. So if you built a battleship with a bunch of torpedoes, you can have one battleship, or 2 battle cruisers, or 5 heavy cruisers, something like that. And they ended up just surrendering as soon as they took any hits, because the torpedo launchers had so many crew assigned to them, and they are completely unprotected. So they get knocked out so easily, and then you lose all your crew. And if you have a bunch of torpedo launchers, you lose enough crew that the entire ship surrenders. So that is very much a risk involved with putting torpedo launchers on your ships. And yeah, you can kind of mitigate that by having extended crew quarters. But that also means your torpedo launchers are manned by even more crew. So kind of the percentage lost is about the same. Yeah, that's it. We got through the battles without the game crashing again. Good job. Now, that's it for now. And hopefully we can get through next month also without any crashes. For certain, we're gonna have to fight some pretty big Scandinavian task forces. In fact, what I think I'll do, send this task force here to take Formosa. Just make sure they're actually in the right sea region, because this one apparently is in Southeast Asia, not in East Asia. And this huge task force, they're gonna battle the big Scandinavian task forces outside of Weihai Wei. There. Right. Goodbye, and take care.